What about some of the laws that are in question here, the stand your ground laws that are only in certain states? Do we need to rethink those after this case?
Well, Sarah, here's what we did. After this happened, I put together a bipartisan task force to go look at it. And they came back and said we shouldn't make any changes.
Should not?
No, we should not make any changes. Look, this is a tragedy. Our state lost a 17-year-old. We wish it had not happened. So we've done the right things. We went back and looked at that law. But look, you can't bring this young man back, and we all wish we could.
Rick Scott ultimately won in the general election for governor of Florida, defeating Alex Sink by around 68,000 votes, or 1.29%. Here's my state Florida's new governor-elect, Rick Scott, giving testimony about some of those fraud cases I talked about earlier.
Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, case number 95-165-CV-ORL-18.
I don't know what you mean by predecessor. What do you mean by chain? I don't recall. I wouldn't know. Well, what do you mean by occupancy? I'm not sure what the definition is. Say the question again. What's your definition of overcapacity? I'm not sure I understand what serious is. I have no idea. I'm not sure what statutory merger.
Well, aren't you a corporate lawyer? Didn't you practice corporate hospital law, sir?
Corporate hospital law? I don't know what your definition of corporate hospital law would be. I'm not sure what a market is. I don't know what you mean by process. Could you define what you mean by market? Yeah, I'm not sure I understand.
You can't answer that question?
No. I don't know exactly how we market in Florida, so I really couldn't answer it.
You just don't know?
I don't know how they market down there.
Let me just ask you to take a look at the last page, Mr. Scott, if you would. Is that a Xerox of your signature?
Right there?
Yes, sir.
It looks like my signature, but what's your question?
And this guy has the nerve to tell us, let's get to work, and that he's a political outsider. He also wants to demand accountability to justify every tax dollar spent every year by the government, along with reducing the state workforce by 5% and drug testing welfare recipients. It is pathetic that in this country it takes less than 15 years for people to forget that they have just elected a man into government who had previously lost his job for defrauding that same government. Here's a little bit of paid electioneering communication, otherwise known as political advertising, that I received from Rick Scott since I live in Florida. There's Rick right there. Rick Scott, you know, he political outsider, create jobs, demand accountability, because he knows what the government looks for, because they raided his ass and fucking fined his company that he was CEO of over $600 million for defrauding the government. He wants to cut state spending like the same money that he used to take. Oh, but here's my fucking favorite. Buyer beware. Who can you trust to stop wasteful government spending? Oh, I know. The douchebag that used to fucking steal money from the taxpayer. That's who. The guy that's sending me advertisements, probably using the money that he fucking stole from us, the taxpayers. That's who I want to fucking have as my governor. Well, it's too fucking late now. I voted. The motherfucker spent 2.5 times as much as the Democratic candidate for governor, Alex Sink, who spent like under $30 million. This guy spent like $78 million, and he won by 1.3%.
A great system in our country. We have lots of checks and balances. The federal government gets to make a decision whether they want to pursue something. They'll make that on their own. But look, we have a system in our country that works.